Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Canicorn Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Ozenbach. This is my partner, Dylan Miller,
How
and
you
we are
doing,
going to
everybody?
be going over a few league check-ins because in the last week, a lot has happened, especially with injuries and who's coming back from injuries. We're going to be talking about who's hot and who's not, the injury list, people coming back from injury. We're going to touch on the All-Star voting because there's some funny stuff happening over there. And then we're going to look into our fantasy league a little bit because I'm a dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna be a banger of an episode. So, thank you guys for tuning in.
Tell your
Uh,
friends.
yeah, absolutely. Get everyone on board. They all want to be here when we open this can of corn.
Absolutely. Speaking of opening this can of corn, let's get right into who's hot and who's not. First person on the list I have is Aaron Judge. Um, did get hit in the hand with a pitch the other day. I'm not sure if they're gonna. I imagine they're gonna. He played in the next game, but I
Yeah,
can't. Like,
he wanted to go right back into the lineup. I don't think
yeah,
it was anything to be
no, I
worried
think
about.
he's more of a player you have to protect from himself as opposed to have to worry about him trying to sit out or anything like that.
Oh
But
yeah.
I mean, he's just having another one of those seasons, another borderline like he could break another record kind of a season.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got his stats up right here. He's slugging almost 700. He's .02 points shy. He's at currently at 698 slug, and his OPS is 1.128, and
Yeah.
OPS plus is 213. So he's currently 113% better than the average MLB hitter in the OPS department.
Yeah, he is doing everything at like he's not just slugging. He's not just getting on base. He's hitting at 306 right now is his batting average. He has 27 home runs. That is ridiculous. I don't care if they're playing at Yankees ballpark. That is absolutely absurd. Um, just kind of doing it all.
Yeah, definitely leading the Yankees, and I don't want to shy away from the fact that he is leading the Yankees in another category, one that you might not expect looking at the stat sheet, but he does lead the team with 11 grounded into double plays.
Hmm, that's interesting. He's pretty fast too, so that's an
Yeah,
interesting statistic. He actually, for how many home runs he has, I feel like 67 RBIs isn't a whole lot.
yeah. I mean, he's got hitters all over the place too. Like they're just so many people that you have to go after in this lineup that I feel like he's not always seeing, more than one other person on the base path.
Yeah, that's very true. And I mean that kind of leads into our who's not hot person, which is is it Glavier Torres? Is that how you
Glaber,
say his
Glaber
Glaber?
Torres.
I've never known how to say his name and I always butcher it. But he's doing atrocious. He's kind of like back and forth from injury. What is he hitting? I think he's hitting 221. Yeah, he's hitting
Yeah,
221. Um, he's just honestly the injury might be good for him. It might give him a mental reset because he was a pretty big prospect for the Yankees when he came up. And
yeah. He was when he came up, and he showed promise. I forget what year it was. I think it was 2019.
yeah,
He showed like he had a crazy season, and then since then it's kind of just been searching to try and replicate, but it's never
yeah.
really happened.
It's honestly like the Yankee syndrome at this point. They have a good prospect. He plays good for 1 year. They give him a contract, and he sucks.
Yeah, but yeah, not too much other things to highlight with him. I mean, he's got 4 stolen bases, 30 walks, which is pretty good all things considering.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, there's just not a whole lot else that really stands out for him. OPSing 641 combined,
yeah.
which you know he's he's not he's not hot. That's why he's in the not category.
Yepers. Moving back to our hot side, we have the Baltimore Orioles, who won the series against the Phillies and won the series against the Yankees. And I wanted to bring up that last game against the
Yeah,
Yankees, 17-5, which is the most runs ever scored against the Yankees by the Orioles in both franchise histories.
yeah, that's crazy. Especially since I mean, obviously Luis Hill wasn't going to keep up the same amount of consistency that he was having,
Yeah,
but to get him taken out by the second inning and score, I forget if they scored 7 or 8 runs off of him, but it was crazy. And I saw a graphic that the top 6 Orioles hitters in that game combined for 15 for 31. So the top 6 guys in your lineup are hitting just a hair under 500,
Yeah,
and they're each getting I think they all got 6 at bats in that game.
that's crazy. But to complement our Orioles hot, we have someone who's not, and that is Nick Castellanos, who did just have a walk-off. So very happy to see that. Maybe it'll be a turnaround. But he was horrible in that Orioles game. And to be honest, he's been horrible all season.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Nick on that walk-off. He actually leads the league in walk-off hits this year with
Isn't that funny?
3. But let's just go over his stats. I mean, he's hitting 220, which I don't know off the top of my head if that's a career worst for him.
It has to be.
It most certainly seems like it. Like, he's always been a guy that's gonna put that on ball.
Yeah.
He's just not doing it this year. I mean, 12 doubles is all right, but I mean, he's only got 31 RBIs.
It's like he's not seeing the baseball. It's so bizarre. Like, it's like wherever the pitcher throws it, he's just going to swing.
Yeah.
And that's great if it's working, but I don't know, it's not. Maybe it's time to switch things up and not do that. But then he doesn't swing at the ball, and then he watches. I don't even know. I don't know what the solution is for him. I'm not a professional coach, nor am I a professional athlete, but we need to change what's going on right now.
Yeah, it just seems like some games when you watch him play, he has Javi Baez syndrome, which,
Yeah.
I mean, for those of you who aren't aware of it, if Javi Baez swings at any low outside breaking pitch that goes off into the left-handed batter's box side of the plate, and there are just some games where Castellanos, you put it there, no matter how far off it is, he's going to swing.
Yeah, so we'll go back to the hot category with none other than Shohei Ohtani, who has been hot all season. It's not a shocker to see him on the list. Batting at 318, 21 home runs, only 53 RBIs, which is interesting. From a powerhouse lineup like that. And Freddie Freeman's on the hot list later too, so we can probably just group them together real quick. Freddie Freeman's having a great year, and he hits before Ohtani, so you would think that, I don't know, there'd be something going on there.
Yeah, no, there's just the top part of this Dodgers lineup, especially when they had Mookie in too. Mm-hmm. Those 3 back to back are just absolutely insane to try and formulate a game plan, because it's like you try and go around 1, you've got 2 more staring down the barrel with a runner on base. Like, there's just, you have to go right after these guys, and that's what they all want, because they're going to make you pay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just want to highlight Freddie's slugging 504, which seems really high for Freddie. I mean, I know he's a big extra base hit guy.
Yeah, that's still high.
Already has 20 doubles on the season, but 11 home runs for him this early on. Like, I don't know if, off the top of my head, if I've ever seen, Freddie hit this many to start a season. I mean, he's looking like he's gonna have a chance for 30, and usually he's more of a 20 to 25 kind of guy.
Yeah, and that could be a big reason for Shohei's lower RBIs too, is if he's hitting more home runs before Shohei gets up to bat, then he's not going to have runners on base. But home runs brings us into one of our not category guys, which is Austin Riley. And he's not having a bad season, but he hasn't hit a home run in like a month.
Yeah, so I think it's fair to say that per Austin Riley standards, it is a bad season just because of what we've seen him do in the past. Yeah. But he is also playing through injury. Like, it's nothing serious enough to sideline him, but it is enough to make him play at, like, let's call it 70% every day. Yeah. And I really thought that, 70% of Austin Riley was still going to be better than 100% of a lot of other third basemen in the league.
Yeah.
Turns out he just does not have that dog in him.
Yeah, I will say, I had that statistic written down a few days ago. The 14th, 15th, and 16th, he went back to back home run games. Before that, he had not hit a home run in a month. And that only brings his home run total to 6 on the season. And he's usually a pretty big slugger, so I mean, if he keeps it up, obviously he'll be fine. But that's a rough month.
Yeah, I think that just kind of goes to show what's really going on with the Braves as a whole this season. I mean, guys consistent, always like him, just
Yep.
not getting it done.
Yep. And we will travel back on over to our hot category with none other than our own Alec Boehm, who is hitting at a 306 clip this year, 7 home runs, 60 RBIs. The only drawback to him right now is that defense, 11 errors, and we're halfway through the season. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of give and take because I mean, while he is making errors like that and they can be pretty costly, he does have his moments where it's like, holy shit, how did Alec Boehm just make that play?
Yeah, no, he definitely has. He's almost like, I mean, you don't know Ethan Nafsinger's play thing that I know, but Ethan Nafsinger would make every single highlight reel play that ever came to him, but he'd always butcher the routine stuff. This is my shortstop for my college team, if anyone's curious. And so we had this running joke that he could only make highlight reel plays, and I feel like Boehm's a lot like that. It's like when Boehm gets some bizarre backhand over the third base line off the back foot throw, it's right on the money. But when he gets just a ball that goes right to him, it's 5 feet away from Harper's glove.
Yeah, no, I think that's fairly accurate. The weirdest stat I've seen on Boehm, and I forget what the exact numbers were this year, but are you aware of how different of a hitter he is when Brandon Marsh's
Marsh is
roommate
in the
is in the
game.
lineup?
Yes, it's crazy.
He has
It's like 60 points better.
I thought it was more than that. I thought like without him, he was hitting, damn near 200, and then with him in the lineup, he's hitting like 330.
Maybe it is a lot more. I know it's a crazy difference. Like it was like a remarkable difference. But yeah, that's pretty nuts, man. The power of friendship and good vibes. That's what Philly runs on.
Absolutely.
That and fentanyl, but not the players.
Yep.
There it is. Alrighty. Where were we? Yes, the Chicago Cubs are not. They're not hot.
Yeah. If you're a Cubs fan, I'm sorry, man. Like this is just brutal. I mean, other than Shota, you really don't have much going on for you.
Yeah, he is kind of the shining star.
And it's like even as of late, he hasn't had the greatest of outings. I mean, he's still rocking a 1.89
ERA.
Yeah, 1.89 ERA. His WHIP's still under 1.
Yeah. No, he's doing great. It's just there's no offense to back him up. They're not hitting the ball out of the park. They're making errors. Like, and they just aren't doing anything right.
Yeah, I mean, Javier Assad's still pitching pretty well.
Yeah, as we said that, Imanaga just let up 4 runs in the first inning against the Mets.
Yep.
So that's negative 11 fantasy points for me.
Yep. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up the Cubs. Like, anything good that they have going for them, they just shit the bed.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, now that I'm mad about that, we're going to get right off the Cubs, and we're going to talk about Ozuna from the Braves.
Ozuna from the Braves.
Everyone's favorite DUI. If you guys haven't seen the Ozuna from the Braves video, type in Ozuna from the Braves, and it'll come up.
That's all you need to do.
It's really funny. I'll recap because it's one of our favorite clips. And the officer pulls him over. He's clearly intoxicated, and he's trying to like give him a ticket or something. And he just keeps going, "No, I'm Ozuna from the Braves." He just keeps saying it, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
But he's having a great season.
Yeah, he much under the radar. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Marcell Ozuna, he's always been able to hit, but it's never really been to this degree. He's slugging 0.001 shy of 600. I mean, he's slugging 599. He's still getting on base at a 390 clip.
Yep, and he's got a batting average of a 316. That's insane. That's 20 home runs, 63 RBI. Like he has eerily similar stats to Judge right now, and no one's really giving him his flowers.
I think it's just Judge is doing it to a little bit more extreme of a level, considering Ozuna's been hot all year, and Judge had a really horrendous April and then really turned it on.
Right now, yeah. Right now, Judge is definitely the better. He's on a tear. But yeah, Ozuna's been doing it since the first game of the year, and I think it also gets overshadowed because Acuna got hurt, Strider got hurt. Everyone kind of counts the Braves out of winning the division. so they don't really look at, oh, this guy's doing really great. But man, Ozuna's on a. I mean, it's from last year to this year. Like he was good last year, but he wasn't like anything spectacular.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and I do want to note he is beating Aaron Judge. Only 5 grounded into double plays here.
How interesting. Probably because no one's ever on base for the Braves
Yeah,
now because the whole lineup's hurt.
That's true.
Well, I'll have to look into my percentages like I did in my stat project for percent of times grounded out into a double play, like with an opportunity. We should do a podcast just on my project. I'll do that later.
Right.
But also, who's hot? Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
Shout out our guy. What month is it?
How about Kyle? It is June.
What month is it? It is
June. Kyle has the highest highest
home run percentage.
Yeah, lowest at bat per home run in June in MLB history, passing Babe Ruth. So take that for what you will, but
he has 4 home runs in his last 8 games, I think. So yeah, he's doing all right.
Yeah. So he's batting .254, which is just absolutely crazy to say. Like, we have never seen this version of Kyle Schwarber where he's hitting for that much of average.
Not since he's on the Phillies, anyway.
Exactly. Still getting on base at a 375 clip, which is tremendous. He's got 54 walks to 93 strikeouts. I mean, his strikeout numbers are always going to be high, but, his walk numbers are always going to be high as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a 463 slug for him is relatively low, but I would rather see that average tick up and him get on base a little bit more and sacrifice a little bit of those slug numbers. I mean, he still has 17 home runs and 6 doubles on the year.
Yeah, he definitely his home runs aren't where they normally. I expected him to be at 20 by now, if I'm being totally honest.
And it's not June. It's not like he's taken anything off of his swing either. Like you see when he hits home runs, he obliterates them.
Oh yeah.
I think he's just being more selective with his pitches because he knows he's got a lot of guys behind him. He's not really trying to force the issue when he's in the box.
Well, and he's got 4 stolen bases, so even if he gets a single, he'll be there on second. He has lost a lot of weight, and he is a lot faster than he was last year, and it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
But back over to our not category, a little bit of a hometown guy for us, and Rhys Hoskins is just not doing too hot. Hitting .221, 10 home runs, 30 RBIs, and he had a 4-game over streak in this past week. Like he's just not. I don't know if he's not seeing it. It's Rhys Hoskins, so he's probably going to do this, and then in a couple weeks he'll have the most generational run of any baseball player ever, and then he'll go right back to going over every game. So.
Yeah, I mean, much like Schwarber, he's kind of always been like his batting average might be a little bit lower than what we've seen in the past, but
his home runs are still pretty low too.
Yeah.
Only 10 halfway through the year. He's not a 20 home run guy. He's a 30 to 40 home run guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's still OPSing 731, which all things given and how bad offense this season, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's only played in 54 games this year, too.
Yeah, injured for a while. But I just saw him go. It was like an 0 for 12 clip in the middle of the week, and I was like, that's not great.
Yeah. So hopefully our guy Rhys finds it.
Yeah, and for our other one, this is the last one on the list, and it's in the not category, and it's the Phillies with runners in scoring position. A little bias here. What the hell are we doing? We got like 10 hits to one game and scored like 3 runs.
Yeah.
Manufactures a bunt. I don't care what has to happen. Stop playing Nick Castellanos. Stop playing Christian Pache. Sorry for all the Christian Pache lovers out there. I don't care. He's hitting like 202. Like he's actually hitting worse than Castellanos. Where is Cody Clemens? Can we stop with this third string catcher bullshit? I'm sick and tired of this. Like
I don't know. Like Marshawn, it's tough because Stubbs
can't hit worth a damn either. But I don't know. JT, please come back. JT, please, JT, come back.
Which brings us right into our next category:
injuries.
Womp womp.
I don't remember if we addressed it because this has been a while, but we had that big gap in the pod. But Acuna being out, I don't know if we talked about it last time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we did either, but let's just recap it. Acuna
Out for
tore
the
his
season.
ACL out for the season. Really sucks. I don't know if you've seen the play that it happened or if our listeners saw the play that it happened. He kind of shuffled, leading off from second and was heading back into the bag and just like, moved it weird. Like it was one of the weirder torn ACL like
Yeah, it
moments that
reminded
I've seen
you.
in sport.
It reminded me of when Rogers tore his Achilles. Like he just dropped back and tore it. Like it's not like he
Yeah,
did anything bizarre. It was just his ACL just popped. I don't even know. It was very bizarre. But next, and this is one that we'll talk about in the fantasy league too. Mookie Betts
yeah,
with a 6 to 8 week injury designation.
yeah.
That's
Fractured hand.
that sucks. That's tough
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Um,
It's definitely gonna hurt his MVP numbers.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and he was running away
yeah,
with that too, which stinks for him. But also might bring more light to Azuna, who we were talking about earlier, because he's having such he might be having a better season than Mookie Betts.
yeah. It's just I think it's gonna be really hard for a DH to win the
Oh,
MVP.
absolutely. I think Mookie's defensiveness is what really brings that out. Like, yeah, because otherwise we'd be talking about Shohei again too. But with him not pitching, he's not the asset he would be. Um, but yeah, look, I offered you a trade for him for with a functional second baseman. Um, because in 6 to 8 weeks, if you don't have Mookie Betts playing for you, you are certified out of playoff contention. So trying to help a brother out over here
Yeah,
and make my run in the postseason when I need to. Um, but no, Mookie's gone, and then JT we were just talking about. That's a huge injury for the Phillies.
yeah.
Um,
Partial meniscus tear. Uh, Looking to be out for about a month. Topper doesn't seem too concerned about it, which feels really
yeah.
good.
Mm.
Kind of
I
said
think
that
three
this
weeks
was,
now, right? Only 3 weeks left.
yeah, yeah. Kind of said like this was something they knew was going to happen all along, and just wanted to get it over with now, have him get back under his feet, and still have a good amount of ball to play before playoffs come around.
Yeah. I think it was a great decision. I think it was the right time to do it. I'm glad they didn't wait and let it get worse, so it's not a reoccurring thing. Especially with it only being a month injury designation. It's just, man, it sucks. We're so spoiled watching him that it sucks to watch the team with the backup catchers in
Yeah,
because Garrett Stubbs is great defensively, can't hit worth a lick. I don't know if he needs to change his approach because I think he does. He has a lot of flyouts, and I feel like he's hitting as if he had home run pop, and he just doesn't. Like I don't know, maybe level it out, try to poke it somewhere, like almost slap hit style for him might
yeah.
work better. He's very fast. He's good on the bases, and then Marchand, I I don't even know
I don't know what to say about him.
because everything said scout wise that he's a great defender, but I've watched him make like three pretty bad plays, two pretty bad throws. He missed that ball at the Orioles game, like, and it wasn't. I watched the replay. It's not like it was like a bouncer in the dirt that he couldn't get. Like he just missed. Like he just missed the ball.
Yeah,
Uh, so tough sledding over there for the Phils. But we'll move along because this is not a Philly Friday episode, and we'll move on to Yamamoto, which is that's a big hurt for the Dodgers, who are already pretty slim on pitching.
yeah. I mean, they do have a good amount of arms coming back, but just the way that pitchers are going down this season, you never really can count on anyone being healthy. Especially the guy that's 2.5 months into a $300 million contract.
Yeah, and I mean he was pitching to his contract. I'll say he was pitching very well. You have to wonder if at some point they're going to start like making suggestions or changes in throwing motion or something because like I remember being a kid, pitchers were not getting hurt like this.
Yeah,
Like 2008 Phillies World Series run. I was never like concerned about the pitchers getting hurt. I was never like, oh man, like what if Roy Halladay goes down or what if that's I guess it was 2009. But I was like, no, I hope Cole Hamels doesn't tear his whatever. Like I don't know, it just wasn't as prominent of a thing as it is now, I guess.
yeah. I think it's just we're at such a point now where Velo plays so much better than Stuff plays.
Who's the Cy Young leader in the NL right now?
Someone who takes that and flips it on his head.
Someone who throws like 93. Just gonna put it out there. There's pitching and there's throwing. A lot of these guys are throwers. Sometimes you need a pitcher. But anyway, I'll get off the topic because people don't like to hear that. Bo Bichette down for the Blue Jays, which might be a defensive boost for them.
What happened with him? I didn't know he was injured.
I think it was like a non-contact thing. I can look really quick, actually, if you want to discuss. Do you know anything about the Yu Darvish one?
I do not, but I know about Rizzo.
Okay, you talk about him then.
Yeah, Rizzo had a collision at first base. Ultimately, I mean, we've seen Rizzo last year after he had the undiagnosed concussion, and he just still really hasn't been the same since. But, yeah, I don't know. I think the Yankees just need a complete change of scenery in first base. And they have Ben Rice, who looks like he's going to be taking that position for, I don't know.
Yeah, did you see that hit he had where he was smiling running down the first base? Yeah. That was awesome. That was so cool to watch. I was so, like, that had me getting all, like, giddy inside watching it.
Yeah, but, I mean, Rizzo's only on the 10-day IL. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's just got to come a point where you got to cut bait.
Yeah. Bo Bichette is also on the 10-day IL with a calf strain. So it shouldn't be anything too terrible, but strained muscles can take longer or shorter amount of time, just depending on how bad it is. So we will see with him, but that shouldn't be anything too serious. Also, he's playing kind of terrible this year, so I don't think the Blue Jays are going to be hurting too bad without him, any more than they already are.
Yeah.
And the Yu Darvish one is, I saw this one. It was like a rotator cuff thing.
Oh, yes. And he's set to start rehabbing.
Yeah, Wednesday. So I guess that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Unless it's next Wednesday. So yeah, that's good. He'll be back. It sucks too because he was pitching really, really well there from like the 19th to the 30th, I think it was, of last month.
Yeah.
He was just on a tear.
Oh yeah, especially pitching in Dodger Stadium. He is like he is him in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, and I'm
torments the Dodgers.
Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion. And against the Braves, he went 7 innings, 9 Ks, no earned runs, 1 walk, 2 hits. So that was pretty crazy, too. I have a suspicion this started against the Yankees on the 24th because he let up 7 runs in 5 innings. And even when Yu Darvish has a bad game, he doesn't let up 7 runs. And the Yankees are good. They have a really good offense. But there's like 3 guys, I feel like, that are putting up crazy numbers or out of the park numbers right now as far as to put up 7 runs in 5 innings.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll be back soon. And then I saw, or no, that was it. Yeah. Back to our returning from injury guys. And we'll start with our guy, Trey Turner,
Bay.
coming back.
Trey Bay.
Thank God. I don't have to watch the Island of Misfit Toys out there anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, that's big for us. Obviously with everything he brings at the plate and with the speed on the base pass, it's just we got another one of our guys back. Like he's here for a long time.
Yep.
And I need those guys.
I don't have him listed here, but Marsh is back too. So
yes,
that's good for us, especially because Bohm hits like
hit
like 100.
good,
100
good for Alec.
It's better. So that's great. Not great for when there's a lefty on the mound because I'm pretty sure Marsh hits under 200 against lefties, which is not stupendous. Max Scherzer is making his first start Saturday back, I think.
Yeah.
He had a really horrible rehab assignment. He had like a 5 ERA in the minors, so I don't really know how that's going to go for him, but he's back.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's always been pretty solid. I can't imagine he just randomly sucks.
Yeah, I mean, his numbers with Texas last year weren't that great, but, I mean, this guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's a coin flip, really.
Yeah.
For what kind of performance you're going to get. Speaking
of a coin flip, Blake Snell is coming back. I don't know if that's even great for the league right now because that was a travesty. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about. I understand why no one wanted to pay him. We kind of called it too. We kind of said he's never had back-to-back good seasons. Like it's not going to be a good year. Yeah, was not a good year
Yeah.
to this point.
Give him like 3 years, and then he'll start pitching like a
He'll do
Cy
it
Young
again.
candidate again.
He's a big 4 year. Got to give him a 4-year contract. One of those 4 years will be good. But Corey Seager is back, although he's playing like crap since he came back.
Yeah, the whole Rangers are playing like crap.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever. I mean, I understand where they're coming from because of all these injuries, but like I don't know if I've ever seen a reigning world champ be this disappointing.
yeah, it's
Like
pretty bad.
for a matter of the fact, both teams that were in the World Series be so damn disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's hitting 256, which is the same as Kyle Schwarber. 14 home runs, 35 RBIs. Now he's been injured a bit, so the home run RBI numbers are a little bit deflated. I don't know what his home run rate is right now, but yeah, I thought not what I expected out of him, as he was my MVP candidate. I really
As
thought
was
this was going to
mine.
be the year, but that's okay. We can't win them all. And then who? Oh,
Well,
Garrett Cole. Garrett
yeah,
Cole's back now too, and that's going to be huge for the Yankees. They're
yes.
already a powerhouse, and now you're adding arguably the best pitcher in the last decade to your lineup. Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, and I think that's really huge for the Yankees, especially after Heel's last start where he blew up. Like to just see like, okay, your guy that looked invincible kind of got his first blow up,
Yeah,
but then Cole comes in like the knight in shining armor. It's
yep,
like, what more can you need from this team?
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we wanted to talk about um,
All Star
the All
voting.
Stars. I think it'd be a really good idea for us to do an episode right before they decide All Stars, where we kind of talk about who our All Stars in each position are. We just write one name down,
Hey,
kind
yeah,
of a deal. I think that'd be pretty cool. We do not have time to do that as we're at 32 minutes, but I do want to discuss the All Star voting with what the Phillies fans are doing.
oh yeah, they're just
There's
putting up generational numbers right
They're
now.
just voting for the whole team. Johan Rojas is sixth in outfielder votes. Johan Rojas sucks.
Yeah,
Castellanos is in there somewhere, and he sucks. I'm surprised like Edmundo Sosa isn't in there for like something.
yeah. So I have the results from the first poll
Okay.
up right now. I'll read through position by position, and
Yeah.
dictate where the Phillies rank in those. So Bryce Harper is leading in first base with 1,110,000. He's got about a 400,000 cushion over Freddie Freeman in second.
Which is insane because statistically Freddie Freeman's having a better season.
Yeah. Bryson Stott is third for second base with 486,000 votes. He's sneakily close. Arias and Ketel Marte are only
Mhm.
separated by like 6,000 votes.
Yeah.
And
Marte's having a
yeah,
great season.
yeah. So Stott's really only like 120,000 away.
Okay.
Still ridiculous. And then here's the best one. At third base, we have Alec Bohm leading by a landslide. Alec Bohm has 1,012,000 votes. And the next best is Manny Machado with 267,000. Bro has almost an 800,000 vote lead.
Oh
Safe to
man.
say Alec Bohm will be an all-star.
Yeah, something tells me. Good lord. And I mean, honestly, third base is a lot weaker this year in the National
Yeah,
League than I expected it to be. Alec Bohm's hitting out of his mind. He's got 11 errors.
yeah, it's
But
crazy.
shout out you Phillies fans, man.
Yeah, shout out as well. Shortstop Trey Turner is at second. He's a good bit behind first.
Who's is it still Mookie?
Mookie was 500,000 ahead of him
Okay.
for first. But Trey's second and top two are named All Stars. First place starts.
Okay.
So
He'll be there.
uh,
probably.
Hopefully he'll be there. Ellie De La Cruz is about 175,000 behind Trey.
That's sad as hell.
Yeah. Then we'll go to the outfield. Brandon Marsh is actually fifth in outfield. Castellanos is sixth, and Rojas is seventh.
Yeah, so I love the Philadelphia Phillies. I love the Philadelphia Phillies fans because I love that we can be so perfectly delusional. Never in my life have I been so delusional to think that Johan Rojas or Castellanos should even be like said in the category of good outfielders this season.
Although Castellanos did have a good All-Star game last year when he was the Phillies' lone batting representative.
Oh, that's great. He also did really good last season, and he's actually doing really horrible this season. Yeah. So I don't. That's so pathetic. But shout out Marsh because I actually don't know his numbers off the top of my head, but I know he's having a better season than he was before, especially before his injury. Like he's just kind of constantly been improving with the Phillies. So it's cool to see him get that recognition, and he's a fan favorite for not only the Phillies, but I think a lot of other teams too. So
that's absolutely neat. I mean, it's just hard not to laugh looking at these votes, and Johan Rojas still has like 10,000 more votes than Cody
Johan Rojas isn't even on the freaking roster anymore.
Bro's in AAA.
He got sent down, and you guys have him. But it's pretty funny. Are there any other bizarre ones in there? Is JT in the catching vote?
Oh, that's right. I didn't even get to catcher. I still got to scroll, silly goose. So JT, as of the time that these votes were taken, was just barely hanging on to second place. Okay. William Contreras is in first, about 200,000 votes ahead.
Yeah.
And
huge poll, by the way. If you guys drafted William Contreras, huge poll and excellent ball knowledge for knowing that while he's not the best catcher, he's an excellent hitter. And he's a DH when he's not catching, so you don't have to bench him.
But yeah, JT's like 200,000 behind him, and he only has like a 500-point lead on Will Smith of the Dodgers.
Nice.
So with this injury, they're going to be battling each other for 2 and 3. But then there's a pretty steep drop-off between Will Smith and Wilson Contreras, who's not even playing baseball right now.
I was going to say, he's like...
He broke his arm.
Yeah, he's cooked. He like fractured his... Like, it was like a really bad break, wasn't it? He doesn't need surgery, but it's like...
Yeah, because it was the interference call.
Yeah.
I forget who was hitting, but like legit. Oh, it was JD Martinez.
Okay.
So imagine just reaching your glove out to catch a pitch, and you just get JD Martinez taking a full swing at your arm.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. I've never been hit. I've never had a catcher's interference called on me, so I've never been hit by the bat. That has to be like a top 5 worst thing to happen in baseball.
Yeah, like I saw the clip, and it just looked absolutely excruciating when he got hit.
Like comebacker to the face is the worst. Getting hit in the face, and then it might be getting hit by the bat on a might be third for me. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, and I do still have one more position. I just keep forgetting to scroll. I'm being a real
Who's our
goober.
last? Is it the DH?
Yes, it is the DH. Ohtani has a clear lead.
Yeah, I assumed. How's Schwartz doing?
Schwartz is third.
Behind
he's
Ozuna?
right behind Ozuna from the Braves.
Nice. Ozuna from the Braves.
About a 40,000 vote difference, and then it's a pretty big drop off of over 350,000 between Schwartz and Reese.
Nice. And I mean, I think that's realistic to how they're playing right now, too. Schwarber's having a pretty good year. He's on a pretty good tear right now. Ozuna's having a stellar year, and Shohei Ohtani is everyone's favorite baseball player. So obviously he's going to have all kinds of votes.
I just want to shout out how crazy it is that legitimately all 9 of our, at one point, starting lineup is in consideration. And then we have one guy
who's not on the roster.
AAA.
Yeah, so good job voting in the AAA guy. That's insane. That's so funny. I saw that on TV. Kruk was talking about it on the broadcast, and I was like, "You have to be kidding me!" But that was pretty funny to see. And then the last topic that I want to touch on is our fantasy league recap, mostly because I'm having an insane run right now. Like this is like Linsanity. My fantasy team is 12-0. We were 11-1, and then there was a scoring change, and I beat the guy that supposedly beat me by 1 point. So pretty neat. I'm currently outscoring, like for the whole season, the second place person by 500 points. I'm the first person to reach 5,000 points. The next closest is at 4,500. And at the end of this season, assuming that I continue the Linsanity run, I'm going to tell you guys how I did it, because it's a crazy strat that I was very scared to do, but I'm going to tell you guys what the strat was at the end, and we'll see if people start catching on to it in the league and if people start using it next season.
Yeah, I'm not doing too hot.
Yeah, I know. So give me Mookie Betts. He's out for like 6 weeks. And I offered you what did I give you? I think it was Gimenez and a pitcher.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I cannot tell you the last time I checked fantasy. It's just
Yeah, I can
something
tell
that
half your roster's injured.
yeah, like it's just something that fell off my radar this year.
Come on, Dill. That's what I do every morning. Every morning when I get up, I check the fantasy team, go through my progression, which I can't say because I can't tell everyone what my strategy is. And yeah, that's like my routine. It's one of my favorite things to do every day is go through the fantasy baseball stuff and whatnot. So come on, Dill.
Yeah.
We put money on this one. I gotta be serious now.
What was a $15 buy-in?
15 or 20. I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is all we have for today. If you want to close us out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all we got for today's Can of Corn content. Thank you everybody for listening in, joining us, whether you're watching on YouTube or tuning in via Spotify. Really appreciate it. Any comments, questions, you just want to tell us about something, hit us up on the socials, give us a YouTube comment. And yeah, if any of you guys are following our personals, you can absolutely reach out on there as well. Chris, you got anything quick?
Just we appreciate the listens, and I'll be posting some stuff on the Instagram story where you guys can submit questions, things like that. Next podcast when we do our All-Star, hopefully we can do our All-Star stuff by then. We can address some questions too, just to kind of give us enough length to get through that. So pay attention to that. Keep an eye out. Ask questions. Send us DMs, just like he said, and tell other baseball fans that you know about it, because we always appreciate getting more listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to challenge you guys, the viewers, with these questions, because last Q&A episode we got some absolute banger questions. But I want to see you guys top that. Give us something that we got to cut deep for.
Yep, and ask specifics. Don't even bother like broad-based. Ask like if your favorite team's the Yankees and you want us to, even if it's like to research something about them that you just don't have the time to do and you want to know why something is the way it is. Send us the question. I will go in depth. It's like my autism niche is that I will sit down for hours and research baseball stuff. Dylan's the same way, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll get down and dirty.
Yeah, absolutely. Ask us questions. More the merrier. I think that's all though.
That does it. Thank you, everybody.
See you guys.